because my soul's mission did not align with what my identity or ego believed or thought it was. And so I had to do a deep dive of like, okay, how do I go in and do this? Like, I know what the work is, but I don't like it. A few months ago, I did a video on creating the character trigger. And I got to thinking while I was doing this, I was like, wait a second. Like, I need to start building something, because a video is one thing. You might have to pause and go back to try to get these processes. But I was like, I need to get these out and get these actually transcribed where somebody can follow along and do it themselves. And then I could coach them through it. So for a while, I was like, okay, should I do the Skool platform? And I thought about that for a year. And what held me back was the fact that I would actually have to sit down and do the work. Because I remember doing like a rifle course when I was in the military, and you have to sit there and you have to think, what's the very first thing I need to teach these new shooters? And then that first basic thing, like, what do I build on next? And what do I build on next? So I had to go in and do that. And dude, I'll tell you what, like, that's some work. I didn't want to do all that thinking, but I ended up pulling the trigger. So I started a Skool platform, or not a platform, but a community. And once I did that, I was like, okay, now I have to start producing. So I went in and I did the character trigger. That was a good bit of work. It's about a 4 to 6 week course, the way I set it up, where like each module or each section needs to take about a week and a half. And you go through and you learn about the brain, you learn about breath work, you learn about energy, you learn about tapping, and then you put it all together with your character sheet. And then you learn about symbology, which is pretty cool. So I put all that together and I have it on the Skool platform underneath the Uncivilized Rebirth community. So I had that on there and I was like, okay, what next? I was like, oh, controlling outcomes. So I went in, I did the work, and I got that set up as a course, and I kind of got the ball rolling with that. So removing motions from old memories, I got a module for that. So if you are somebody that has been following along this and you're interested in learning this stuff more in depth, and I can actually coach you personally through it. And right now, the Skool community is free, and all the courses are free. Because in my mind, I was like, well, like, if somebody's never done this and there's like only a couple people in the community, they're not going to want to pay. So anyway, if you're interested, go to the Skool platform. I have a link in the description on the YouTube channel, and I'll put a link in the video or below the video in the description. You can go in. It's going to be a community where people encourage each other. And I'm really seeking people that, for lack of better words, feel really broken and that really need another solution to control their mind and to step into the person they want to be. And this could be a veteran. I know when I was initially discharged medically, I was broken. And then I was crushed because I was, wait a second. I don't get to put this uniform on anymore. This was part of my identity for the better part of 20 years or 16 years total. But 16 years, that's a long time, like, to really identify with being a soldier. And so my identity had this huge gap in it of like, who am I? What the crap? And then my wife left with the kids when I was a stay-at-home dad. And then all of a sudden it's like identity crashed again. It's like, oh wait, I'm not a stay-at-home dad anymore. I'm not a husband anymore. Who am I? And then I tried to get into business. I was like, oh, I'm a businessman. All that flunked, all that failed. And then I just had a massive identity crisis of like, what the crap? Like, I don't identify as this anymore. Like, basically it gets ripped out of my life, And so after all that, like, I had a spiritual awakening, and I had to do some deep diving because my soul's mission did not align with what my identity or ego believed or thought it was. And so I had to do a deep dive of like, okay, how do I go in and do this. Like, I know what the work is, but I don't like it. And so basically the information was revealed to me as I went along. It was really spiritual, miraculous. I started this process for like 10 months, about 2.5 years ago, going through like really deciding who I wanted to be. But I had these mechanisms of doing it. Like, I created like a character sheet. I created a symbol, combined those, and then I started doing the tapping and the breath work. And I started putting it all together, and lo and behold, I started seeing results, and it worked. I started having basically not more confidence, but just being more of who I wanted to be and who I was meant to be, and being firm where I needed to be firm, and being kind when I needed to be kind, and doing the shadow work. I know people call it the shadow work, but I think it's just really we all are capable of good and evil. And a lot of times we just totally repress the fact that we're capable of evil and bad. But you have to realize that's part of who you are. So in the character trigger, it's a long course, but it goes in and teaches you these different parts of the character trigger. And then at the end of the course, you build your personal character trigger. And through this course, you start doing the different parts and using them. And then at the end, you build your character trigger, which is a tool that you use for life. It's yours. And with the character trigger, when you go in and you do the work of reformatting memories, it is a springboard. It just opens up the world for that tremendously. And you start getting this internal view of start understanding yourself and who you are. Because when you get into visualization, you're in there, you're visualizing this stuff, your eyes are closed, you're seeing these things. And then eventually, in natural course of action, you're going to ask yourself, what's doing the watching? I'm in here visualizing in my brain, so my brain's not seeing inside my brain. What's doing the watching? And in doing that, you start getting this separation of your mind and your soul. And when you do that, everything shifts. Everything shifts. So that's I want to bring this to people. I know it will help people to step into an identity that you want to be, or who you are meant to be, versus the identity or the roles that we've been put into the world, because they can always be stripped from us. But when your identity comes from the inside, when your emotional validation comes from the inside, oh my goodness. And when you can go in the inside and you can in real time process traumatic memories, or go in and change how you connect memories to old memories, that work is the true inner work that really changes you. It's ridiculous. Anyway, I just want to encourage you, if you're one of the 19 people that watch this channel, go check out the Skool community. It's a place where you're welcome. Like, it's a safe place. You can share, you can open up. It's not a place to talk about skull, dip, big trucks, buying stuff, or anything stupid like that, or clothes, or shopping, or makeup, or doing hair. Like, it's not about the secular world whatsoever. It's about our internal world. It's about empowering you. Anyway, okay, that's been on my mind. I just want to let you know there's a lot of good stuff in there, and I'm going to keep promoting it. Anyway, Roadhouse, Spiritual Hard.